Today we're going to share with you the good, bad, and the ugly of composting toilets.
Is it smelly?
Is it yucky? And what about the bugs? Hi, and welcome to Mountain Beaches, the channel that brings you all the best in RV living, including boondocking, DIY, and so much more, so you can live your dream to discover new adventures.
If you're new to our channel and you like what you see, please subscribe and hit that notification button below. And if you're returning, welcome back, and thanks so much for being here.
And why in the world would we ever do this? So why did we do this? I think it's all Kim's fault.
Yep. When the end of the world was coming in March, I said to Norm, we need a composting toilet.
Yeah. The world is ending. We need to get out and get a composting toilet to go with our solar.
So he did.
So we did. Here we are. So kind of the first place to start then after you get your composting toilet, I guess, would be the install. And the install was just so easy.
He did it all. So yes, I can say it was so easy.
It literally only took a few hours to remove the old toilet. That part was super easy. And install this new toilet. The hardest part was finding the plumbing fixture that I needed to put down into the old drain valve and getting something that would work in there. And then plumbing the vent, the hose. I had to figure out where I wanted that to go. But overall, if I combined, it took me a couple of days, but overall, if I had the right parts, probably 3 or 4 hours.
At the most.
Yeah,
at the most.
Very easy. Now, one thing we did with ours was we put it on a plywood, I think about a 1/2 inch plywood base. And the reason is because at some point down the line, we want to take the composting toilet and plumb the urine portion directly into our black tank. Right now, it uses the container that it comes with, but we have it set up so I can run a small pipe underneath the toilet to the black tank, I guess, is what you would call it. And that gives us that flexibility.
Which I think at the end of the day, we're going to like to have that. And we'll tell you a few stories about, filling up the liquid tank a little bit more than we wanted to.
Yeah, that's not fun when that happens.
Nope. So what's first, hon?
There's a lot of misconceptions out there.
There are.
And we had them too. We didn't believe, or I should say, I believed that a composting toilet was going to smell. And smell bad. How could it not, right? That's what you think, right?
Yeah,
you think that.
You think that.
It doesn't.
Honestly, it's been so much less yucky than we thought it was going to be. And I've been the one so far to empty the solids part, and it's just nothing. It's just absolutely nothing.
It's unbelievable. This is the only word I can come up with because I truly did not believe it. We called some friends of ours of Life Uninterrupted, and they had their composting toilet for about a year. And we asked them, we said, okay, we watched your video and we know what you said on camera.
Now we want to know the truth.
Give us the straight scoop. And they said, if you watched our video, you got the straight scoop because everything we said is true. It does not smell. I still was reluctant.
Yep, we still were reluctant, but honestly, I have a very sensitive nose. And when I'm in the bathroom getting ready in the morning, and it takes me a while to get ready in the morning, I cannot smell anything.
Zero.
There
Nothing.
is zero smell.
Now we've heard that it is possible to get smell at times, but that's a quick indicator that something is off.
Right.
Maybe you've got not enough water in your mix, your cocoa core mix, or maybe too much, or maybe your fan isn't working. It's one of those three most likely, but 99, well, we've never had any smell. You probably don't believe it. I didn't believe it, so I don't blame you. But it's true.
But take my word for it. It really is true. So enough about the smelly part. Oh, one other thing. When you remove the liquid container, urine can smell a little pungent, but you just put the lid on it, or You add a little bit of vinegar water to it, and that helps with the smell. And it's just, it's just really, it's a non-event. It's absolutely a non-event.
Yep.
You remove it, you put the lid on it, you take it to the place that you're going to dispose of your urine, and we'll go into that later. And you're done. It's easy peasy. It's just not bad. So let's talk about how you prepare the solids tank for use. And it is so easy. We use coco coir. You can use coco coir or peat moss.
Yeah, sphagnum peat moss.
Right. We choose to use the coco coir. It comes in these nice little tight bricks. And all we do is put it in the bottom of our bucket, which is a collapsible bucket, so it's easy to carry. And we just put the brick down in there, put about 2 quarts of water, let it set, then start breaking it apart with your hands. Add a little bit of water as you need until it's just fluffy, a little bit moist, not dripping in water, and add that whole brick to your solids tank.
Right. It'll seem like just some lightly moist, nice soil.
Yeah.
That's the consistency you want. And then you just pour it into the solid tank. The lid, the top of this comes off, and ours is really more like just a bucket, and you pour it down in there and
Yep. And that's
crank
all
the
you
handle,
do.
mix it a little bit. Good to go.
Yep.
Literally.
Oh, I think we're going to have lots of poop jokes. But, and as you use it, I mean, for us, there's just 2 of us, and so it should last us a good 3, almost 4 weeks.
Right.
And, you know, as that period of time goes by, you're going to want to check it every now and then. Maybe add a little bit of water if it's becoming too dry.
Depends on the weather, the
Yep.
humidity, the heat.
Yep. But as you're checking it and making sure that it's working correctly, it's not stinky. Another thing you're going to want to do as you're using it on a daily basis is after you pee or urinate or whatever you want to call it. I have a little bottle. It's got about half and half vinegar, white vinegar and water. And you just spray it so that it goes into the liquid section. You want to make sure that your liquids and your solids always stay separate. If they combine, that's when it becomes sewage, and that's when it becomes stinky. Right.
So that's the main operating principle behind this, is it separates the liquid from the solids and puts them in different containers, and they never combine to create that
sewage.
Disgusting sewage.
And so it never smells.
So there's a couple of things we need to cover here. Guys, I'm talking to you. It's the end of the standing up and peeing. On this toilet, you need to sit down. You try and stand up and do it, and try and hit those small little holes, you're going to splatter all over the place, and you're not going to be happy. Your wife's not going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy. So sit down and just get used to it. It's not that bad. And now we're going to have Kim talk about the feminine side of the toilet, because there's both.
So, I mean, as women, you're going to sit down, you just need to control whether you're peeing or whether you're pooping. So if you're peeing, it's easy. It just goes where it needs to go. You need to stop that stream, open the little trap door, do your business, and close that trap door. You know, it's not hard. It's just getting used to that. And in talking about women's issues, most all of us have menstrual periods at some point or another, and you just take care of those things like you would at home. You wouldn't put your menstrual napkins and that down the toilet. You would wrap them up and put them in the garbage can. You know, if you're going to use a tampon, you're not going to put that down into the solids part. You're going to wrap that up and put it in the garbage can. And if you happen to have a little bit of blood in the toilet, it doesn't matter which place it goes. It can go into the liquids, it can go into the solids. It makes absolutely no difference. So you're just taking care of business pretty much like you did at home.
All right, so what about toilet paper? What do you do with a composting toilet with the toilet paper? That's what everybody wants to know. When we first started with our composting toilet, we just put it down in the trapdoor with the other solids and cranked it up and into the composting mix, and that's a very viable option if that's what you want to do. What we discovered is that tends to fill up the solid tank faster, and it also tends to get caught on the turning mechanism that mixes things up.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gums it up a little bit. So we've gone away from that. And this was another one of the ew parts that I had. That
He was so funny.
I just couldn't wrap my head around using the toilet paper and taking it and putting it in a receptacle. That's what we do now. I've gotten over that. It wasn't that big of a deal. And we have a little garbage can right next to the toilet for that. Kim buys these trash liners that are scented. There's no smell whatsoever. It's not gross. You might think it is and not want to do that. You can put it down into the solid tank. Not a problem. It just fills it up faster. It gums it up a little bit more. So another byproduct is we don't have to worry about the brand of toilet paper that we buy anymore. We just buy the kind that we like and we're good. So no more special shopping for toilet paper.
Now let's talk about what happens if you get sick.
That happens.
What happens if you get diarrhea? What happens if you have the stomach flu and you're vomiting? Diarrhea, no problem. The composting toilet takes care of that just fine. There's just no issues. But if you have the stomach flu, then you need to vomit or whatever you want to call that in a different receptacle, whether it's a pan or your garbage can or a plastic bag. You do not want to do that.
Don't do it in here.
Yeah, don't do it. For one thing, the hole is not very big to hit. And plus, it just doesn't, you just want to do that.
Don't do that.
Yep.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I think that covers all the oohs and yucks about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about pooping in a bucket. We got to cover these things. Sorry.
Sorry, but not.
So the $1 million question, aside from Armageddon coming, why did we take out a perfectly good, brand new toilet and spend $1,000 on a new toilet for the composting toilet? These aren't cheap, but there's so many benefits to it. So why did we do it? First of all, we want to be more self-sufficient when we go out. We love to boondock. It's our style of camping. So this composting toilet no longer fills up our black tank. What that allows is I added a separate valve onto where it dumps out, and now I can combine my gray tanks and my black tank, so I've effectively gained an extra 45 gallons of gray tank water. That lets us stay out further. The other benefit of using the composting toilet is, from what we have heard, approximately 25% of your RV fresh water goes down the toilet when you flush. This doesn't use any water. We're saving 25% of our 60-gallon tank. That lets us stay out a lot longer.
That means I get to shower an extra time
We
or
get
two.
to shower more often. So those two benefits alone, for us, made the decision easy.
Would we do it again? I'll answer for me. Absolutely, 100%, I would install a composting toilet.
Yeah, I would too. No question. That's an easy answer. We've had no smells. We're saving our fresh water. We've expanded our capacity on our gray tanks.
No bugs.
No bugs, no smell. Why not? Plus we get to use our soft toilet paper now.
I think one of the other questions that we get the very most is how and where do you dispose of your waste?
And how often?
And how often? So the how often story is important because we were not paying attention.
Now we're talking about the liquid.
The liquid,
The liquids.
yes. We were not paying attention to whether or not our liquid storage was becoming full. And so we were just not paying attention, and it was the middle of the night. I got up to use the bathroom and realized that it was not going to hold everything that I had to give it.
You can hear. I mean, you can hear when it's falling all the way to the bottom, or
Right,
if
and there's a little window at the front, but you
You
don't
can
see
tell.
it, but you can tell. So I could tell that I was going to overflow the liquid tank, and so I had to stop what I was doing, stop my business, get my slippers on, get my pajamas pulled back up, undo the bucket. Luckily, we were boondocking. No, there we were at a regular campsite. So I had to pour it down the shower. And yeah, not a lot of fun in the middle of the night taking care of your liquid tank. So we've kind of come up with the way we do it is we empty it once a day.
Every morning.
Yep.
Just after we wake up and get
going for the day.
We empty it every morning. We don't have to worry about it again.
Yep. And we certainly don't have to worry about it in the middle of the night.
But once I get it plumbed into the black tank, never again will I have to even empty it.
Thanks. Can you do that next week, hon? So now the million-dollar question is where do you empty it? And there's lots of different thoughts behind that. So for the liquids, when we are boondocking and we are out in the middle of nowhere where there's no one else around, we empty the liquids. We sprinkle it out at the edge of our campsite. And I don't pour it all
far out on the edge.
Yeah, far out on the edge. I don't pour it all in one place. I kind of move from one place to the next. We have not had any smells. We've not had, maybe it's keeping the wild animals away. I don't know. But yeah, it has not been a problem. And we feel 100% okay with using that method when we are boondocking in the middle of nowhere. Now, if we're at an RV resort, which isn't our typical, but if we are at a campground or something like that, I'll take the liquid tank, I'll put it inside of another carrying bag that we use just for this purpose.
So we can be discreet.
So that we can be discreet.
Who wants to go walking through the campground holding the pee bucket?
So I'll put it inside of another bag that's only used for this purpose. I'll go find a restroom and put it down the toilet, whether it's a pit toilet or a flush toilet, it doesn't matter. Now, the next question is the solids tank. I have done a lot of research on this. I've read up on a lot of different sites. There is some controversy about it, but at the end of the day, most waste management companies say it is no different. In fact, it's even better than baby diapers or adult diapers because, you have all of that extra stuff that needs to decompose. It's no different than that. So you put it in your recyclable bag, you tie it up, and you bring it to the nearest dumpster. It is not a big deal. It is not a big deal. All right, now we're going to give you some pros and cons, and I'm going to lead with the pros. Number one, on this particular Airhead Composting Toilet, the seat is almost like a residential toilet. It's as comfortable as you're going to get in a composting toilet. And beyond this particular model, one of the things that I really like about composting toilets in general is that we get to save water. We get to save water, and that means more showers for me.
And so now I'm going to cover some of the cons. So let's get real. The biggest con of this is that I no longer get to play with the stinky slinky and empty sewage. Come on, isn't that what you want to do? All right, I'm being sarcastic because we really haven't found any cons. Maybe the price, it's $1,000. We admit that's spendy. But beyond that, there really aren't any cons. It's just a great toilet. It's environmentally friendly. We're no longer using chemicals down into our toilet. We're not having to empty sewage. Yeah, we still empty our gray tanks, but no longer sewage. The saving of the water, it's always a win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Win-win for us.
Yeah. Would we do it again? Absolutely. In a heartbeat. Now, the question we have for you, are we crazy? You probably think we are by now.
Did we give you TMI?
How can you not cover pooping in a bucket without TMI?
But if you have comments, if you have opinions, which I'm sure you do.
And experience.
Whatever it is, whether it's positive or negative, we want to hear about it.
Everybody in the community now will have a chance to see those comments, and they can weigh this versus that and understand things better. So let's get a discussion going on your thoughts and comments and experience on composting toilets, yay or nay, and why. We want to thank you so much for watching today and sharing with us as we discuss our composting toilet. If you're new to our channel, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're interested in what we do and our lifestyle and
Our craziness.
all our craziness, we'd love to have you join us. And all you have to do, it's free, is click that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when we release our weekly videos.
Yeah, but thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate all of you.
Have a great week.